Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Schneider, and my partner's name is Taylor Hausbeck. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 core values and professional identity that's within occupational therapy. So before we get started, I would like everyone to know that they can contact us with any questions. Taylor's is to the left and mine is to the right. If you guys have any questions about the Flipgrid, which you guys will learn about in the module, or the pre-test, post-test, you guys just let us know. The Flipgrid can be tricky. So if you guys are having trouble logging into it, just let us know and we will walk you through it. Also, before we get started, there is a copy of the PowerPoint and it has blank spots for you guys to fill in words. This is just to help you guys follow along with the video. That way you guys aren't just sitting here listening to us. Also, before we get going, these are the objectives for today's lesson. These just kind of go over what we were hoping for you guys to get out of it. And you guys will be kind of tested on this in the pre and post test and the activities that we have planned. Then you guys should have already taken the pre-test. If you guys haven't, go ahead and pause the video for a little bit, take the pre-test. And don't worry, this isn't going to be graded against you guys. We just want to know how much information you know about our topic before we get going, and we would like to compare it to the post-test that we have planned for you. So next, we are going to go into the occupational therapy core values. You guys can find these on AOTA, which you guys should all be able to access just because Saginaw Valley's program makes you guys buy the AOTA journal. And then the core values are altruism, equality, freedom, justice, dignity, truth, and prudence. We're going to go ahead and we're going to define each of these for you. So the first one is altruism. This is defined as the individual's ability to place the needs of others before their own and benefit other individuals at a cost to oneself. So an example of this is giving your water to someone else without expecting anything in return. This is really important in occupational therapy because we are huge like caregivers. We help people out without really expecting anything in return for them other than our own satisfaction of knowing that we are bringing meaningful engagement into somebody's life. Next, we have equality. Equality refers to the desire to promote fairness and interactions with others, treating all people impartially and free of bias, requires that all individuals be served or preserved or perceived, as having the same fundamental human rights and opportunities. An example of this is Bill provided the same opportunities as Maria. And it's really important as OTs in any health profession to treat all patients equally and fairly. We do not want to have any prejudice or bias prior to going in to see a client. Then we have freedom. This is a personal choice and is a paramount in a profession in which the desires of the client must guide our interventions. This is a patient's personal choice. It is really important for us OTs to understand where our clients want to focus on. So an example is an OT made an activity that includes washing dishes for a male client. However, the client states that he does not want to do the dishes because his wife does them at home. The OT then gives the client other options to choose from. It is our responsibility and our job to come up with more than one activity for them to choose from. And it's very important because they may not be interested in the activity that you have planned. And it's always a good idea to have a backup plan. Okay. And then there's justice. This is fair and impartial manner to individuals with whom they interact in respect and adhere to the applicable laws and standards regarding their area of practice. It can be direct, education, or research. It's organized for all to function and succeed. An example of this is having handicap ramps and stairs. This way all can go into a store safely. Now, as you guys may be realizing that justice and equality can be kind of confusing because we kind of think of them as almost the same. So a good way to keep these things separate is justice is the quality of being fair, so your own quality. And then equality is the state of being equal. So being equal to someone else. So the example I gave is that Bill has the same opportunities as Maria.
All right, so now we are doing dignity, and this is valuing the uniqueness and the worth of each individual. As OTs, you will often hear the word holistic approach, so this is also referring to that. And an example is collaborating with clients' healthcare, the team members, in order to provide the best care for the client. So it is important to remember that each client is different and their needs are going to be different, their wants will be different, and we need to get a good group of people together to try to benefit the client the best that we can do. And remember that just because you did something with Sally doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing with Susie. Truth is the next core value. This is respecting the facts and reality of a situation. It is also being honest, accurate, and accountable for your actions. An example is not sugarcoating the terminal illness that a client was just diagnosed with. Truth is super important in the field of OT because that is how you can build a rapport with your clients. They need to trust you and you need to essentially trust them. And the best way to do that is by being truthful and just talking about the facts and the realities of the situation. And then the last core value is prudence. This is the ability to use clinical and ethical reasoning to respond based on a rational thought. It's also known as doing what's right. An example is that a client loses his balance when he's walking to the bathroom. So the OT educates him on the use of a walker to provide additional stability to allow him to safely reach the bathroom. So constantly we are thinking about safety, safety, safety. And in this example, the client wants to go to the bathroom. So if that's what they want to do, we will help them get there. By using our clinical and ethical reasoning skills, we could reason through that maybe a walker would be more safe for him. And then we would educate him on the use of the walker as well. This is super important for OT in general, and as well as all these other core values. And it's important to remember these core values because now we are going to practice on Google Slides. So you can click the link in the module to access the Google Slide document where you will record your responses. There are instructions on the Google Slide, but I can also explain them briefly right now. So what you will do is create a new slide once you are on the Google Slide document, and the title will be your name. And then you will have you will create two scenarios of something in the scenario has to be a core value that is not being followed. So whether it's the patient isn't following it or the OT, whatever in the scenario, there has to be a core value that is broken. And we want you to identify a peers as well. And then when you are done typing your responses on the Google Slides document, you can come back to this video and we will complete the second portion on professional identity. Okay, so the next portion is professional identity. So in addition to the 7 core values that we just discussed through AOTA, it is important to recognize and remember that you have your own core values that you've had for years that you will be bringing into the profession when you are practicing OT. So professional identity is actually defined as one's professional self-concept based on attributes, beliefs, values, motives, and experiences.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our own professional identity. And before I get going, I would like to say that this is kind of evolving, and I have actually gained these new professional identities through field work and through my classes. So if you guys are thinking that you guys don't really have any of your own, or maybe these don't line up with ours, it's okay. There are so many different values that a person can have, and it just makes us who we are and the kind of OT that we want to be. So one of my professional identity is education. I think this is a huge factor in our field. Every day we'll be educating clients, whether it's on safety, what their diagnosis is, or even just talking to family and friends about like support groups. Like we can hit a large variety of ways to hit education. Then we have a problem solver. This is a huge aspect that I didn't even realize when I first entered the field. Because you think of it almost as if like things are already laid out for you, you'll know what to do, but OTs are huge problem solvers. when there is a situation or a problem that a client has been having, it is up to us to come up with a new solution for them. And they could be having problems that we don't even realize, and then they come back again and saying, hey, this didn't work. And then we have to come up with another new solution. Then we have collaborative. So in the field of occupational therapy, you guys are going to be working with PTs, speech, nurses, doctors, surgeons even, because they're going to be telling us like when they may or may not be able to do certain tasks. So it's really important that we work as a team and we work with others. And just remember that you can always talk to other peers or even like other occupational therapists within like your field work, just to ask them questions. Everyone is very helpful and supportive, and that's part of being an OT.
Okay, and then these are my professional identities. So I have always been a very compassionate person, and through my fieldwork experience, and even before that, I've realized that I have a very strong passion for the elderly population. So I think that picture just really sums up how I feel, but I'm compassionate towards anybody. Next, I have problem solver, just like Jenna. She said that most OTs are going to be problem solvers. So it only makes sense that we both chose that. So this could be as simple as some of the ways that Jenna was discussing. It could also be somebody comes in and they're blind and they want to do something, and I have to try to think out of the box, like, okay, now I have to change this to something tactile or auditory so that they could do it. And then creative is my third identity that I chose, that I value. I'm a very creative person. I try to make things fun. So going back to the previous example of, if it's auditory or tactile, I'm going to make it, something that they enjoy, something that they like feeling, or whatever it may be. I'm going to try to think outside the box and add some color to it. So that was our professional identities. Now it's time to tell us about your professional identities as well as your peers. So we would like you to click on the link in the module to access the Flipgrid, where you will be able to record your response. The instructions, I will just briefly go over. We would like you to draw or find 3 pictures that represent 3 of your professional identities, kind of like Jenna and I just showed you, and then make a Flipgrid showcasing those images and briefly explaining them. I do want to make a note that when you click that link, it will bring you to a website that looks like this picture below. Do not join with Google or with Microsoft. It will not work for you. Join down where the arrow points to enter your guest password. And we chose the guest password to be class 2023. Also make sure that the C is capitalized because it will not work if it's not capitalized. When you are all done with submitting your response, you can feel free to go back into Flipgrid after you've completed the assignment, and you can see what your peers value as well. We do also just want to make a note that we have a post-test that we would like you to complete when you are all done with the Google Slide assignment and the Flipgrid video. And then after the post-test, we do have a survey that we would greatly appreciate if you would all fill out for us as educators. And these are our references.
So if you guys have any questions or anything, once again, we put our emails in the module, and then we also put it at the beginning of this presentation. If you guys have any questions about how to do anything, let us know. There are a lot of links, and we did test them so they should be working, but if they're not for you, once again, just shoot us an email. Also, we would like to offer our email if you guys want to contact us for any reason. We are second year, so if you guys have any questions or need to reach out to us, we are perfectly okay with that. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.